Good morning. Welcome to the Therapeutic Conversation Show. I'm your host, Dr. Brian Jones, LPC, in the house this morning with Dr. Adrian. Ooh, I like that name too, Doctor.
Dr. Adrian.
Dr. Adrian.
You so funny. You so
Oh, I'm
funny.
just so glad you are here this morning in the house
here.
with me live.
Live.
Finally.
Live.
I tell you, I've been watching you.
Cough it up. Cough it up.
So look, Dr. Adrian is here today, and I mean I ain't gonna go into no because she's gonna introduce herself very well. But she is a licensed professional counselor in the state of Georgia. She is a therapist. I mean, she is a empowerment speaker.
Yes.
In the world of theology, I would consider you a womanist.
Ooh,
You
how
know,
about that?
so that's not an insult.
No, that's not an insult.
You know,
I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, but that you empower women and you
Yes.
also spiritually empower women.
Absolutely.
And speak that life into especially African American women or women of the
That's
African
my goal.
descent. Yeah, and so I know that much about her. A mother. How many
Yes.
children you have?
I have four.
Four
So,
children.
Morehouse, Spelman, Miles,
Oh.
and then my baby is at Carnegie Mellon.
All right now, look at that. And
Wait a
so
minute, wait a minute, and a G baby.
Yep, and she's an entrepreneur as
yes, I am.
well.
Yes, I
And so I'm just so glad that you're here this morning on the Therapeutic Conversation Show, joining me, and we're gonna have a hot conversation.
Yes, we
I've
are.
been waiting to have this conversation with you. Now we met. First, give shouts out and our condolences to Shanti Dawes
yes.
in the transition of her sister. What a wonderful spirit
Yeah,
that we
she
will
was.
always remember. I met her at Silence the Shame. So definitely shouts out, and our prayers and our thoughts and prayers out to Shanti Dawes and her family.
Yes.
But I met you at Silence the Shame is where we met, and I had to, give a little small speech at the. But then you were on the panel and you've been on a series of panels, and so I definitely want you to talk about that in a few minutes. But she's been on a series of panels dealing with mental health in the church, and also they have a partnership with the Department of Behavioral Health for the state of Georgia, and just doing some awesome work. And then also you got your own show on Facebook, so we're gonna talk about that. And then you also do you on the radio.
I am on the radio with Joyce Littell.
Yes,
Relationships.
yes, she's wonderful.
yeah.
Wonderful spirit.
1380
Well, you said
WLK.
love and relationships.
Love and relationships.
Is that what we're gonna talk about today?
Listen. What is life without love and relationships?
What is it, right?
Right.
So anyway, y'all just join in with us today, and so definitely welcome Dr. Adrian to the Therapeutic Conversation Show. I am so here. Just start off. What's in your spirit? Because look, Dr. Adrian, she is on this Facebook Fridays.
Look at my cousin.
Oh,
Alicia.
go ahead and give a shout out.
Hey, Alicia Robinson. Now, so that is my. She will always be my cousin. I love you. I love you. That is.
Isn't it wonderful when family and friends watch you?
Because that's my ex-husband's first cousin.
Oh, okay, all
But
right
when
there.
I say I love her beautiful spirit, I love her.
Yeah,
I
well,
love her,
look,
yeah.
I mean, shouts out, and thank you for joining the Therapeutic Conversation Show. So, Dr. Adrian, let's go ahead and start. What is in your spirit this morning?
in my spirit
Because you always got, I mean, call it because I'm going to still call it ministry. I don't know what you call it, but I call it that you have a ministry, and we all have callings. So let's put that out there. But you have a ministry, a powerful ministry, and, so I want to just let you talk about first what's in your spirit. What is the spirit, the spirit of our ancestors as well as the spirit of God, number one, telling you what's happening with mental health and this relationships. You talked a few weeks ago about forgiveness.
That one right there. Excuse me. So here's the thing.
Yeah, so go ahead and tell them out there.
I think that what's in my spirit this morning, Brian. I think what's always in my spirit is what's going to make us our best selves. And so how do we get over the junk that's in our lives that's been planted by these seeds that, either grew some weeds or they grew some flowers.
Yeah, go ahead.
And a lot of times we just don't understand why we do the things that we do. And so what I tell people is that nothing that you do is by accident, and nothing that you do does not have a root or a foundation from something. You just
Exactly.
got to figure out where is it coming from,
Yes.
and what does it mean in your life. And
Yes.
so I think that as African Americans, we got a lot of junk in our
Uh-oh.
trunk.
You better
And-
watch it. You
and-
said
right.
junk in the
We
trunk.
got a lot of junk in the trunk, and I'm not talking about the kind that fit in the jeans.
Yes.
I'm talking about that mess that we are carrying.
Dr. Adrian, you better watch yourself on this show. I'm just joking. Go
I
ahead and do
gotta
what
watch myself.
No,
I
no,
forgot
you
this-
do what you do.
Because you know I get up praising. Listen, praise and worship is what I do before 12 o'clock.
I got you.
And then after that, it might get a little ratchet on my radio. But prior to that, you know, it's going to be me and God so I can get good.
But everything has a spiritual sense.
Absolutely.
That's what you're saying. Everything
Yes.
everything that you
Yes.
do have a spiritual sense and a
Yeah.
meaning. And that's one thing I do like about your personality is you're going to be you, you're comfortable in your own skin, and you are also you don't mind speaking truth.
No, I
Because
don't.
you got on that panel. That's what made me connect to you. And soon afterward, I know she probably thought I was a groupie or something because I came up to Dr. Adrian. I said, "Hey, Dr. Adrian, I got to have you on the show." She was like, sure, baby, and just wrote that. And I said, I got to have you because I just love your energy and your spirit.
Listen, and you remember I didn't have any cards then.
Yeah, you did.
So look, the people that work with me are so excited that I finally have some cards
Oh.
now. This another Brian, and you know, and the cards are beautiful. I've been
Yeah.
out of cards for 2 years,
What?
and so you know, I tell people, and they're like, "You don't have a card," and I say, "No, people who need me find me."
Exactly. And that's I mean, I'm glad you said that because that is kind of the philosophy I have.
Yeah.
You know, I just, you know, I mean, like I've had several people in the last few weeks say that, you know, for their family members that my profile came up, they called, they got them in, and they were like, this is, you know, a godsend. And that's what we're saying about mental health out there. You know, of course we're laughing and joking, but we're very serious,
serious
about
about
our
this,
work
yeah.
and about transformation of mind, body, and spirit.
Right.
Because this is where we are, and that's is where the, you know, the conversation is, because the question is, what are we doing in the church, you know, in the spiritual communities to help people mentally grow? I'm gonna just drop it like that. That help people mentally grow and to be healthy emotionally.
Well, listen. So let me talk about.
Go ahead.
Because when I was talking about those seeds.
Yes, go ahead.
And
Go
so
ahead.
that foundation that we all have, your background, what are the things that have been said and done to you throughout your life?
Yes.
So I was raised Catholic in Tuskegee, Alabama.
You from Alabama?
Can't you hear it?
Wow.
Most people can hear it. They say, "Where you from?" Tuskegee, Alabama. And I make
I
no
see.
apologies for it.
Oh, all right now.
But grew up Catholic,
Okay.
and the Catholic faith is very interesting,
Mm-hmm.
and so I always say that it gave me the foundation for my relationship with God.
And that's why I put this on the day.
I see you. I see you
in
over there with that
remembrance.
rosary.
Yeah, of what, you know. Well, anyway, go
Right.
ahead.
And so, but as a result of being raised in the Catholic faith, there were some seeds that were planted in me that grew some weeds.
Oh,
And
Go
you know,
ahead.
my father was the first one in his family. So my father was the youngest of 4 boys.
Yeah.
And he was the first in his family to convert to Catholicism.
oh, okay.
And then his mother and his aunts, they all followed him. He converted at 5 years old because
Wow.
they lived across the street from the Catholic school. And so my father is a devout Catholic. You can't talk to him about anything else because he feels like if you're not Catholic, you know, something wrong with you.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And so the things that he believes are so deep rooted
Yes.
that come from that church. But in terms of what I needed as an adult, I did not get it in the Catholic Church.
Wow,
Because
okay.
we weren't having Bible study.
Okay.
We didn't have a Bible inside of the Catholic Church.
Yeah,
Now, I'm just
exactly.
talking about my
Your experience. I got you.
You know, you had the hymnals, and that's where you got your teaching
Yes.
from. But in terms of how do we do this thing called life, when you start hitting some real life grown up
Yes.
stuff
Uh-huh.
inside of a relationship, I did not have that foundation coming from that Catholic church.
Yes.
But because that was my background and those were my seeds,
Okay.
I struggled with, can I go somewhere else and get fed?
Wow.
And what I realized is that once I continued to have enough life, and then what I do as a professional, I
Yes.
said, I got to go where I can get fed.
Yes.
And it's not about somebody else's belief for me
Yes.
as an adult. This
Yes.
is what I got to do for Adrian.
Exactly.
And so, you know, but a lot of times what happens is because of the way that we are raised, we are afraid to do anything else because we're following in the footsteps of that other people have laid down for us.
Exactly, right.
Instead of what it is we feel like we need to be doing.
Yes, and that's what you're saying is helping people to be their authentic self. Because that's who God created us to be,
Right.
is authentic. And also God created us to be creative.
Right.
Because God is creative.
Yeah.
You know?
You know,
but it's our own individual creativity too
Yes.
that helps.
Yes. And here's the other thing. If you're going into a place where you're not being fed, what's the purpose of going? And so I tell people all
Wow.
the time, we do things as habits and routines that don't fit our lives.
Oh, say that again, Dr. Adrian, because that's,
we do
come
things
on
as
now.
habits and routines that don't fit our lives. We trying to work somebody else's plan for our life. And so when we talk about this thing called mental health,
go
Brian,
ahead.
am
Go
I
ahead.
stepping on some toes
Oh,
here?
yeah, you go ahead and do it. Just go ahead. Just go ahead.
you know, so when we talk about this thing called mental health, it's about how do you become your best healthy self, and you can't do that with somebody else's blueprint for your life.
Wait, Dr. Adrian, you're going too fast. You know this is social media.
Okay,
You
I'm
gotta say no. You gotta say that again.
Yeah.
Say that again, because that was good.
Yeah, was
we
that
gonna have
good?
to. Yeah, we're going to put that down in the
We gonna
comments.
put that one down. That you can't live your life based on somebody else's blueprint for your life.
Oh my goodness.
Those are those seeds. When people
Oh
tell you,
my goodness.
you should do this, you're good at this, I think you should do that. And so because we don't have a sense of who we are,
Oh
we grow up and we become who other people think we should be, and
Yes.
then we're miserable.
yes.
And so when we talk about that church, that mental health and church thing,
Yes, that integration.
right. The church has to do a better job of recognizing that mental illness is real.
Yes.
This
That's
is not-
number one.
You know, because in the Catholic Church, I heard about demonic spirits
Okay.
and exorcisms.
Oh.
But nobody was talking about mental health, of course, that many years ago. I mean, I'm
Yes.
52. So
Okay.
that was not the
Yeah,
conversation.
they wasn't on
Right.
it.
You know, but there was some exorcism of little Audrey Rose or what those little
Yeah,
movies that
yeah,
were on
yeah,
television.
exactly, yeah.
And that was really the only point of reference that I had.
Wow.
And I literally saw some behaviors inside of the church.
Okay.
You know, and in the Catholic Church, as long as you go and confess your sins, you're good.
You
go
good,
do your
yeah.
repentance and
Yep.
you keep it moving.
Yep, exactly.
But in terms of why we doing what we doing,
Yes.
and we doing stuff that hurts other people,
Yes.
hurts our relationships, hurts
Yes.
our
Yes.
children, whether it was
That's
infidelity,
toxic.
whether it was, you know, whatever it was. I watched that stuff,
Yes, it's toxic.
but there was no conversation about it.
Oh my goodness.
And so, as a result of what I saw, as I became an adult, I didn't really know how to maneuver the stuff I was experiencing
Got you.
that felt wrong.
Yes.
But it was stuff I had seen.
yes,
That people
exactly.
would go and repent for, and then you get to still sit on your same bench in the church.
Mhm.
And everybody just acts
yeah.
like we good.
Yeah.
No, we're not good, people.
Yeah, and the hypocrisy.
Woo.
I'm going to preach this, but I'm not going to live this,
Right.
but don't do what I do
Right.
because you're
do
wrong
better.
and you're going to hell.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, and so that's, you're on to something, and this is exactly what we're talking about, is this type of unhealthiness
Yeah.
and this toxic type of thinking, and also living our lives, which are but short lives, and not being fulfilled,
Right.
and not being authentic in your own being.
Your genuine self.
Oh my goodness.
Well, but when you think about those seeds that get planted in your life, how do you find who you are?
Oh my
And so
goodness.
I tell my clients all the time, listen, we got to find the weeds and we got to pull them up. We got to
Yep.
get rid of them because
Yes.
otherwise they continue to control your flowers.
Yeah, and also they're gonna then choke the seed out.
Absolutely.
And it will never produce. And
It'll
look,
never
and
produce
look,
a
no,
flower.
and we in the Bible, you all, when we talk about that parable of the seed and the sower, and that word was
And
sent
reaping
out.
what you sow.
Yep.
That thing.
So we right on it.
But here's the thing. We reap what other people have sown
In us.
until we realize that it's time for us to go back and till that garden and do something different.
Wow, and that's what mental health counseling
That's right.
does. It helps us to look at our lives in a different way,
Yes.
and also, and it's just something therapeutic about, with all the technology that we have to sit in a room. I know we do telemental health, and I'm open to it, and I do some sessions that way. But it's still something old school, and about sitting something therapeutic about sitting in the room and talking about yourself in a way where you're also hearing yourself,
Yes.
and you're also able to lay it on the table and analyze what's really going on. You'd be surprised, and I just want to say that to the audience, you'd be surprised that as many people, and I know they come into your practice too, that they have so many things that are bottled up inside of them. And when they sit down and they start sharing and talking about their story, all of a sudden there's an emotional reaction a lot of times. Some people, are not even criers. They cry, or they'll, feel a certain way. And then what happens a lot of time in the counseling process, from my experience, is that then they want to, quote, gloss over that point and move on. And I say, no.
Let's sit right here for a minute.
Yeah, because some things, and this is the word for somebody today. Sometimes you're talking about the weeds and the seeds. Sometimes we got to sit in the dirt. Because we're so quick to move,
right,
when maybe God, the Spirit, is speaking and helping to birth something greater out of us and also give us direction, but yet we're so quick to move on. Some of these things, even in loss and grief and transitions, when people die, we have to sometimes sit in that grief and then rename and reframe our whole outlook of life, because that person isn't physically here. So we then have to readjust our lives, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, I like to tell people, I call it the stain of the pain.
Oh, go ahead, explain that one.
The stain of the pain. So every pain that we have experienced in our life has left a stain.
Yes.
But we get to decide what we want to do with that stain.
Yes.
And we get to decide how we view that stain. Everything is done with purpose and meaning if you choose to look at it in that way.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting when I get people who say that they are Christian, but don't realize the controlling spirit that they have on them.
Oh, wait,
What?
hold on.
What?
Dr. Adrian, you said they say they're Christians, but what?
Have a controlling spirit on them. Because you can't be a Christian in control.
Oh no.
It's
then.
either God's way or your way. You got to choose a side. You can't straddle the fence. And so here's the thing. A lot of times the problems that we are experiencing is because we think we have more control over things than we actually do, including people.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's a whole nother topic when we talk about control.
Yeah.
Because that's the issue too in the church.
Right.
Is that, we have this narcissistic, let's call it, because we're clinicians.
Narcissistic personality disorder.
Thank you.
Real mental
and
illness.
it is prevalent.
Yes,
especially in the African American church.
Yes.
And we ain't just talking about pastors.
No.
We're talking about leaders, and we're talking about church, and your family founded the church. So you got to have, this.
Certain pew.
Yeah. You got to have your name called out and nobody else's name called. Come on, that is some narcissistic type personalities.
And the thing about the church, and when it comes to mental health, a lot of times people don't feel comfortable going to the church because a lot of times that's where the pain happens.
Oh my
goodness. So
goodness.
the stain of the pain happened right there
right
in that
there
place.
In the church.
And so they don't feel comfortable going into that place to get support.
And when they go, they then traumatized again.
Right.
Because, and see, that's the thing. We got to create these healthy churches and healthy spiritual places, because what happens is people already are traumatized.
Right.
They get there and then they form these type of, this behavior and these thoughts, and then they traumatized again.
Well, so back to what I was saying about the Catholic Church and the fact that mental illness was not a discussion. And I think that I'm not a biblical scholar, but I think that there are some things that are in the Bible that even talk about some mental illness.
Oh yes, we can go down the list, and I'm gonna have a book coming out sometime in the next year or so that's gonna talk about that, because it's right there in the text.
It's in there, and
it's right there in the text.
But we didn't deal with that. That was not the discussion.
Yeah, but even dealing with these demons and stuff is
but this was the discussion.
Is mental health. Go ahead.
The discussion was, if you just do this, if you just do this, you're going to be all right.
Okay.
And a lot of times that's what the church does. The church does not recognize the illness that it is dealing with.
Yes.
And so they think that it's a one pill fits all type
Wow.
of situation. Go read this scripture.
Wow.
And you're going to be all right. Go and pay this tithe and you're going to be all right.
Fine.
And sometimes there's not this recognition that there's some mental illness
Yes.
present that you all are not equipped to deal
Oh,
with.
my
You've not been
goodness.
trained.
Oh my goodness,
And
you
the
on it.
judgment that you have in your spirit is not going to allow you to help people who are coming to you who really have a need.
Exactly. And that's what we're talking about. So the ones that are just joining, this is the Therapeutic Conversation Show. I'm your host, Dr. Brian Jones, LPC. I'm joined today with Dr. Adrian. She is in the house dropping it like it's hot. I know y'all get all, y'all know what that is, but I'm saying she's dropping a word in here. Yes. And we're talking about seeds. We're talking about weeds. We're talking about the stains and the pains and how we deal with certain things. That's exactly what we're talking about. The number's going to go up too for you to call in. So we are taking calls this morning.
Yes.
I don't have it in front of me. You know how live shows can be. I don't have the number, but I know the number's going to go up in a few minutes. So please call. Yes. Definitely shouts out to, is it Mary?
Yes.
Mary Robinson?
Yes.
Yeah. Is that a friend of yours?
That's my cousin.
Oh, your cousin just giving shouts out and telling people to watch in. So
great.
Please share this. We got a few more minutes left in the show. Please share it. Please like the Facebook page, Therapeutic Conversation Show, and everything like that. And the reason why, Dr. Adrian, we have to do this because, and we definitely have our thoughts and prayers are out to Nigel Shelby. He was an Alabama high school student, 15 years old, I believe, in Alabama, in Huntsville, that identified as a gay male. But, we're not going to get into all of that on this show right now, because people need to be who they are. Right. This is just, we're not going to even go. Right. But I do want to just, give our thoughts and prayers out to his family because he committed suicide by being bullied. Right. That's what I want to deal with, is that we got to help our youth. Because this is, 15 years old, just a wonderful spirit, and then committed suicide because of being bullied because of his sexual orientation. And I just, as I said, we're not going to get into a theological debate about that, but I do think that, it hurt me to my heart, because I'm not saying, everything happens, but we failed in some sense.
Somebody failed him. And so here's the thing, when we talk about these seeds,
there go a seed.
Bullying is not new. Bullying been going on.
Yeah, yes. And peer pressure.
So I dealt with, a bully for 4 years in high school. Uh-huh. But here's the thing, the seeds that were planted in me at home by my parents were so strong.
Yes.
That what she was saying to me, I was able to turn the other cheek.
Yes.
I was able to move out of her space.
Yes.
Until the day that I needed to confront her, which was 2 weeks before we graduated from high school.
Yes.
But I had seeds planted in me that had grown some flowers.
Yes.
Sometimes in a situation like that, the seeds that are grown, that grow the weeds, start at home.
Yes, and we don't know.
That's exactly right.
But in a lot of cases, it does happen.
That's right.
And it fertilizes.
That's exactly right.
And grows and stuff. And so that's what we're saying today is watch these seeds in your life.
Watch your mouth. Watch your tongue.
And what you putting out. Because people, and that's another whole nother show when we talk about self-awareness.
Yes.
People are just not aware of what they saying, what they doing. They're not aware of how they show up.
So in the church though. In the church.
Uh-huh.
I had gone to church a few weeks ago, and I'm a proud new member of New Birth. And
All
just
right now.
loving it, enjoying myself, and the word that Pastor Jamal brings forth.
Yeah.
I always feel like he's talking directly to me.
Okay, good.
And was at church, and he had this the sister circle with just the women of the church.
Okay.
And he put it down. And afterwards, I overheard a conversation with some women that was so negative. And I said to myself, we ain't even got about the sanctuary.
And they already started.
And listen at you, and so the church is not a perfect place.
Exactly.
But it is a place to perfect people.
Yes.
If they are willing to come there and to continue to grow and then take it outside of the church.
Exactly.
And continue to grow. And a lot of times what happens is people don't feel comfortable in the church because of the church people that's in there.
Exactly. You're right.
And you acting like you better than,
Yeah.
when people say, "Well, how long have you been here?" and I say, "I just got here about 2 months ago."
Okay, I got you.
You know, and they proudly tell me they've been there 30 years
Yeah,
and 20
yeah,
years,
but
as if somehow it's a
yeah,
competition.
yeah. Oh,
I'm in the right
yeah,
place at the right time,
yeah,
doing the right thing under the right
yeah,
pastor. That's what he says
yeah.
every single week. And so I just think we have to be so careful
Yes.
as Christians about what comes out of our mouths and how
Exactly.
we treat people. If we start from a perspective of love,
Exactly. What are we saying and what are we doing? And that's the bottom line is love.
Yes.
You know,
In all
even if you
things.
disagree, you can still be loving and kind
Yes.
and supportive of,
How
because
you do it.
yes, I mean, and that's what we're talking about. But I mean, in the church, and we got work to do. We got work to do, and that's why we see church numbers dwindling, churches closing, because people are not interested in all of the pomp and circumstances.
That's exactly right.
I mean, we are living in lives, and even driving here. I mean, there's so much stuff going on in the news around the world. But I mean, there was some, shootings and some other things, some traffic stops. Again, somebody got shot. I mean, it's just so many things that are going on in our whole world. In a lot of this is part of mental health.
Well, until we get it right. So I was in the school system for 24 years.
Okay, wow.
That was my full-time gig.
Okay.
And so I always had my private practice on the side, until I
okay.
went full-time in my private practice.
Were you a counselor in the church? I mean, in the school?
Elementary, middle, and high school, and an assistant principal.
Oh, wow.
And every superintendent wanted me to be a principal, and I kept saying, "You don't want me to do that. I promise you don't want me to do that." Because my background was mental health, I was always the one at the table raising her hand, saying, "It's not just about the free and reduced lunches."
Yes. Oh, my.
If we
Yeah.
don't get to the root of what little
What's
Johnny's problem
really going on,
he
yeah.
is not going to be able to come here and learn ABCs.
Exactly,
And 1, 2, 3s.
yeah.
And so they were always so amazed at why I knew so much about, different medications
Yeah.
and different diagnoses.
Because
And I
that's
said,
your training.
That's my background.
Yeah.
I'm not an educator. I am a mental health professional in the education
Asian
system.
system,
And
yeah.
you all don't have it right.
Yeah.
And educators still don't have it right.
No.
They put so much emphasis on testing and
Yeah.
pedagogy that we are
Yeah.
missing the opportunity
Exactly.
to make sure that we can raise up some healthy
Yeah,
adults,
yeah.
because everybody wants to ignore it and say it's not our place to deal with this. It is your place to
Yeah.
deal with it. And so the more we have mass school shootings
Yes.
and
Yes.
the suicides
Yes,
and the bullying,
all of those
all
things.
of those are mental health
Yes,
issues
and
that
they're
we're not
challenges.
addressing.
Yeah, and we need to do it. And I'm not, and on this show, we're not just attacking the church like the church is everything,
No.
but also in our communities.
Yes.
There is no reason today that people cannot get educated about mental health.
Right.
There's mental health first aid. There's also a youth mental health first
Yes,
aid. And
yes.
Cecilia, if you're watching, to post that, I think it's May 11th, that Saturday they having mental health for first aid to that's geared toward helping youth.
Yes.
So I mean, definitely register for that. There across the state of Georgia, especially, mental health first aid is being offered a lot of times for free. I do offer it for a fee, but we just had it here.
Right.
We had about 15 people here at 3125 Presidential Parkway. We'll be offering it again. I mean, people are, there's no reason why everyone, that's an adult cannot take mental health first aid and
And
get
it's needed.
trained, because it's interactive. It's 8 hours, but it's interactive, and it helps people to talk about mental health, and you practice and you look at everything from substance abuse to what is mental health to some of the personality disorders. They at least go over those things. Now, you're not certified to do what we do,
Right.
but
Please don't.
But I need to
come
say
to-
that to some
please come
people.
to the couch.
But part of it is the knowledge, and at least
Yes.
seeing a basic, what we call mental health first aider, that knowledge of understanding what the mental health is and all of those type of things. So we want to make sure that people are getting that information. So there's no reason. You can also, wherever you are watching this in another state, you can also look at Mental Health First Aid USA. And they give you a certificate, and it's wonderful information. Even on their website is really wonderful information. So
Yes.
there's no reason why we can't get educated. There's no reason why we can't, and this brings me to another, conversation that we're going to have a mental health conference. It's called the State of Mental Health in Ministry in the Church, in the African American Church. And we're going to be talking about mental health, and the theme is a therapeutic perspective of mental health, ministry, and healing, which is another word that we don't always use in the church anymore. When I was growing up, we used the word healing, mind, body, and spirit. But anyway, a therapeutic perspective of mental health, ministry, and healing in the church. It's going to be June 28th through the 29th, where we're going to talk about real talk about and real solutions about mental health in the church and that integration model. So we're going to be talking, we're going to have panel discussions, empowerment talks, dealing with different subjects, dealing around mental health, but also it's going to be a networking event where if you are in the Atlanta, Georgia area, but also if you from another state, it doesn't matter. You can come in because we're going to be networking, because my vision is that we start this mental health network that can help people. And I know other people got it. I'm joining up with other people to do this, but that they can go to, because just telling somebody to go get counseling, some of these people are going to end up in all kinds of situations because people do not understand the multicultural competencies or the multicultural part.
That's
and
a
you
whole
get
other
it, you get in there and you start talking to some of these therapists, either they weak, I don't mean no harm, they don't know what they're doing, they're not going to help you, or on the flip side, they're going to lock you up somewhere for no reason, because you're just sharing your story, but you're not a threat.
Right.
You're just sharing what happened to you. So we just want to make sure that people are getting the services. Myself and Dr. Adrian, we also are resources that we can provide services. So shoot me an email at brianjoneslpc@gmail.com. You can also check me out at the website of the Joshua Generation, which is www.joshua-generation.net. And Dr. Adrian definitely going to give her information, and definitely how to reach her. So this is what we're talking about. For the ones that are just joining, this is the Therapeutic Conversation Show. I'm your host, Dr. Brian Jones, LPC, here on 108 Praise Radio. And we're definitely having this wonderful, I still like that seed thing.
Yeah, and I wanted to go back
Go
to
ahead.
the seeds.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
when
go
we
ahead.
talk about,
Go ahead.
you talked about it being a community issue,
Yes.
not just a church issue.
Yes.
And it is. And so when we talk about the seeds, in amongst African Americans,
Yes.
counseling is not what we did.
Yeah.
Because the seed planting was to keep secrets.
Ooh,
Don't be going out here talking about what go on in this house.
there
And
you
so
go.
when the people come to the couch and they say, Dr. Adrian, I'm not crazy. Dr. Brian, I'm not crazy. I love to tell them, I'm so glad you're not, because I don't do crazy. So nice to meet you. But here's the thing. We've been conditioned to think that you got to be crazy to go to a therapist. And I tell people, you got to be crazy not to go to a therapist.
Say that again, Dr.
Yeah,
Adrian. Please
because-
let the people know. You can say it. Go
Listen,
ahead.
you got to be crazy not to go to a therapist, because when you are talking to your friends and family members, they are co-signing on your foolery.
Oh.
And so you got to get out of those conversations and understand that people are what?
So you saying that when you talk to them, sometimes they co-sign it on.
That's what they're doing, because they've been watching you for a long time. And so,
My
and
goodness.
listen, and them some deep seas, because that's that. I'm not even getting ready to be real honest and true with you, because even though you are my family member, I got my own stuff going on
but
over
they're
here.
fostering the behavior is
That's
what
what
you're
they do.
saying in a clinical way. They're fostering that behavior and supporting that behavior. That's what
there.
you're talking about.
Co-signing on
Oh.
your food. So, you know those people, places, and things in your life that
Yes.
are unhealthy for you.
Yes.
And they know them as well.
Yes.
But you need to go and have a conversation with somebody that can be unbiased.
Yes.
And so I tell people, I had one gentleman who came and he was so upset because when we started talking about setting goals.
Yeah.
And I said, this is not just a conversation. This is work that you do in here. And I
Yes.
take the work very
Yes.
seriously. And so he said, you're not going to tell me what my goals are? I said, I just met you, sir.
Yes.
I don't know you like that. And
Yes.
I said, contrary to belief, we don't fix your life.
oh.
That's what you do.
Did you just do a read?
I
you
did
just do a
that.
read on somebody?
Real quick.
You said we don't fix it.
We don't don't fix your life.
Oh my goodness.
Because every person is empowered to fix their own lives.
Yes.
It's about having the conversations that are going to empower you to do that.
Yes, and you gotta have these conversations.
Yes.
You on it, definitely. So we have the number up now, 678-528-9462. You can definitely call in. We got a few more minutes. Please call in if you want to just say something to Dr. Adrienne. She has been dropping seeds and getting rid of the weeds.
Yes, we got to pluck them weeds up.
I'm telling you.
Stop talking about the stuff that was done to you and that happened in your life. That's your story.
Change the narrative.
That's the stuff that has shaped you to be who you are on your journey. And what you do with it is up to you.
Changing the narrative. And that's what we're talking about, and we have a couple people on my thing, and you got to click your click.
Let me see.
You got to click it.
I got to click this. What do I have to click? Click this?
Yeah, there you go. And then you can
Y'all
scroll down.
Y'all know I'm not tech savvy. Oh, I see folk from Tuskegee.
I know.
I see
Everybody
my family.
everybody is joining and watching. You got to follow it. I see we have Karen Polson. She's a social worker, a former co-worker of mine. Wonderful. She's watching. Thank you, Karen. We have Reverend Michelle Berry, one of my good friends, for watching and supporting. She supports me, and I thank you. Anybody else who's watching, put a little comment, put your name down so we can at least give you a shout out. You can also call in at 678-528-9482. That's 678-528-9482. You can definitely call in with your questions and comments. I know we've been dropping it and talking about mental health, and we're not gonna stop. And we're not gonna stop talking about mental health. Go ahead, Dr. Adrienne. Go ahead.
Listen, because I got Janice Reeves.
Go ahead.
Covert.
Thank
Look,
you.
These are my Tuskegee people. Anthony Phillips.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. LaShondra Terrell, that's my FAMU sister. Shout out to the Divine Nine. Christy Clark Brown, another FAMU person. I saw one of my Lion sisters on here.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, so thank y'all for watching the show and supporting Dr. Adrienne and everything. And please like our Facebook page, the Therapeutic Conversation Show, right on Facebook. So please do that. Now, Dr. Adrienne, go ahead and tell them.
Wait a minute. And Lisa Pierce Grant. Let me just say, I just love you.
All right, go
I
ahead.
love all of them.
There you go.
Thank you.
And thank y'all for watching.
Getting
up this early, right on a Saturday to watch.
Yes.
So and they said Virginia is alive and present. So,
These people are in a whole nother state.
So thank you, Mary Robinson, for watching. All right, and so therefore, so let's kind of summing up that seed thing. You still there?
I'm still there.
Go ahead.
Listen, because what we don't realize is how often we will say, I don't know why I did this. I don't know why I said that. Everything that you do and say comes from a place. And so it's about figuring out what is the root cause of this. And that's that seed thing.
Oh, my goodness.
I stayed in a very unhealthy situation. And we're going to be talking about divorce tomorrow on, 1380
And how can they tune in on that?
So 1380 WAOK AM radio. And it will be listed on my Facebook page.
Okay, good.
Conversations with Dr. Adrienne. But radio.com.
Okay.
So it's 1380 WAOK
yes.
AM. And we're going to be talking about some of that, but a lot of times we just don't realize how we stay in situations. And I'm not just talking about unhealthy relationships, because you can be in an unhealthy relationship with your job.
Oh.
You can be in an unhealthy relationship with your career and your education.
You are on it.
And so you can stay rooted in these places because other people think you should.
Yes.
And that's the seed that got planted. And you don't realize that it's not a fit for you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not working for you. And so until you recognize what you are doing and why you do what you do, you can't do anything different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the call right there, is that, getting your mental processes together can help then determine a different outcome and a different behavior, because that's the issue. I mean, we don't have to live like this. That's the thing. We don't have to live in these unhealthy relationships with your job, with your people, with,
your relatives.
With your family.
What?
Oh. So, did you say family?
So here's the thing. Now you right. You listen.
I ain't gonna go there with
really
you.
About to get some Dr. Adrienne
with the family.
So if you imagine that your life is a theater, and so you got about 10 seats across the theater in the front. Okay. Can't sit two to a seat. So that means you shouldn't have any more then that number of people
Yeah.
can have front row access to your
Oh.
life. Front row access means when you call, I pick up. When you text,
And
I pick up.
that's VIP inner circle.
That right there. Everybody else, so you got your balcony, you got your popcorn line on the outside.
What's the popcorn
The
line?
popcorn line, when you coming into the theater, you out there, you buy your popcorn and you can.
Oh, okay.
And then
They
you
in
got
line.
then you got the line outside the theater, and sometimes you got to pull that shade down that says no more tickets being sold.
That
So-
you can't even
so
enter
you can't
in.
even enter in. So everybody should not have front row access in your life.
Oh my God! I
And
hope
so
y'all
you
getting
gotta
this
have
today.
levels
Wow.
to your relationships. All of your relationships
Yes.
should have levels.
Yes.
And so as a result of that, when we start to put in perspective the people placement, proper people placement,
Yes.
then we'll do a better job with our own mental health.
Exactly.
And understand mental health and mental illness are different, y'all.
Yes. Go ahead and
The-
explain
the
that.
words are not used interchangeably. So your mental health is your conditioning, your status, and your healthiness every single
Yes,
day. Your
yes.
mind, body, and soul and spirit. That is mental health.
You better preach in here.
So mental illness is what we determine as diagnosis.
Yep, there
when
you
we're
go.
talking about chemical imbalances or
Yes,
mood disorders,
yes.
anxiety disorder. Y'all, that's something totally
different. Yep.
And the thing about it is, you maintain your mental health by coming to the couch. You deal with mental illness by coming to the couch.
Yes.
So you come to the couch for both of them because
Yes.
talking about it at home won't resolve anything.
Exactly. And that's what we're saying. Dr. Adrian, you put it down. We got to wrap up in a few minutes, but you have put it down up in here. I mean, come on now. We got to get her back. I mean, you just on it. You on it.
Appreciate you.
You on it. I mean, and this is all I've been doing this about 1.5 years. And, you know, and I first started, I was like, you know, I was a little, you know, kind of concerned because I said, God, you really want me to get on here and talk about mental health? And, you know, there've been some haters and some people, you know, who don't, you know, but at the end of the day, I'm going to continue to talk about it because
We have
lives
to.
are at stake. You know, I'm not giving up.
Right.
I'm going to keep on, you know, even though I don't get recognition sometimes, it ain't even all about that. God recognizes
That's
me.
exactly right.
But I'm, you know, I get discouraged sometimes, and I'm being, you know, transparent
Right.
because I feel like, you know, I don't get honored. You know, people don't invite me to stuff. But, you know, a lot of times, but, you know, and I'm not bitter about it, but I know that I'm a pioneer
Right.
in this work
Right.
because we're not talking about it.
And we need to.
And lives are at stake. People's lives are at
That's exactly
stake.
right.
I mean, we don't know what people gonna pop off and do. And so my thing is being preventative. Why wait till someone commits suicide or hurt somebody or do some kind of, you know, tragic
Right.
situation, you know, the shooting or whatever, mass shootings before we get the help that we need. And that's where I am, you know, so that's why I'm inviting everybody to this conference. This is a mental health conference, a therapeutic perspective of mental health, ministry, and healing. These are conversations, real conversations that we're going to be having at the conference. So definitely register at www.mhempowerment2019.eventbrite.com. That's W, and I'm going to put it in the comments after the show. www.mhempowerment2019.eventbrite.com. So please definitely join. There is an early bird special for $85 right now. We also have 12 or 13 vendor spaces available. It's going to be hot, on and popping. We're going to have empowerment talks. We're going to have panels. We're going to be talking also about how to do a counseling center in your church because we need to have first aiders, if I can use that word, mental health first aiders that are trained in the church to be able to help people, and then they can also get the therapy that they need. So some people may need to go to the church. Some people need to go to this network of therapists outside the church because it's painful in the church. You know, whatever people need, we want to be able to be open and receptive to whatever they need, that we can support them, you know, because it's all about love and support.
It is.
You know, and we can't just ignore this mental health thing. This is a crisis. We are in crisis, and this is an epidemic.
It is an
We got, especially in certain communities.
Yeah.
There is an epidemic, and I'm not going to stop preaching it, talking about it, teaching about it, whatever, because this is where we are. People are dying, and people are not living the lives that God has called us to live, which is a life of, yes, we have challenges, but a life of abundance, in my opinion.
That's right.
A life of health and wealth and prosperity. That's the God I serve.
Well,
and I'm not talking about
we
being
stuff.
millionaires and just downing other people. I'm talking about having money to be able to help people. That's what I want.
But we ignore things, Brian. And so that community piece that you talked about, you know, we had this campaign rolling after 9/11. If you see something, say something.
Yep.
And so,
there you go.
But we don't.
Yep.
Or we will look at somebody and we'll call them by their diagnosis. I love when Shanti says that, we will call them bipolar as if that is their name.
Yeah.
But we're not there to provide the support that they need. Mental illness has always existed.
Yes.
And if we think about our childhoods, our upbringing, we can probably identify some people in our own lives that were suffering from some things, but because the resources were not present and the conversations were not being had, things were being overlooked. So changing the narrative is about, let's do something different now. We have the resources. We know what this is. Let's call it what it is, and let's provide support to people who need help.
And exactly. And we also want people, if you have in services and you got insurance and why don't you support somebody else who may not have the resource, may not have insurance, and therefore you can give to, one of the nonprofits I have is called the Foundation for Therapeutic and Spiritual Empowerment Services. It's a 501c3. So your contributions are tax deductible, but we provide affordable mental health services to be able to help those that are in need. So those are the things that we are doing. Those are the things that we are really on, when it comes to those, those type of things. So we got like 2 more minutes left in the show. So just say whatever you got to say before you go.
Well,
because you are dropping it. I'm so glad you're here.
I'm so glad you invited me.
Because you on it.
Thank you
You
so
on
much.
it. But
I
go
don't
ahead
think
and just,
anything happens by accident.
well, everything is in divine order.
It is in divine
so,
order.
So go ahead and share, just as we wrap up. And then tell people how to reach you.
So, what I'd like to say is stop listening to that voice that says to you, you should not seek help. Go and seek help from professionals who have been trained, who are non-judgmental, and who can actually empower you to help you become your best self. I promise you, it's not the folk who got your last name. They can love you, but the love that they provide to you is different from the treatment that we can help you get. And so go and seek help. And I tell people, I like to consider myself as a preventionist. You can come when you're in crisis, but I would much rather you come when you're not. Because that's when we can really talk about some goals that are going to help you become your best self. When you're in the middle of a crisis, we got to deal with that first. And a lot of times that's pulling back a whole lot of painful layers in order for us to deal with some stuff. And so we got to do that too. But come when you're in a good space. And please join Couchversations with Dr. Adrian.
How can they?
It's
right on Facebook.
It's on Facebook. And so I do the
every Friday.
The Fix at 6 is on Friday.
All right, for the Fix
at 6.
Dr. Adrian, that can say a whole lot, but we won't go there. We won't have time to. You said the Fix at 6.
The Fix at 6. So yesterday I talked about the brain game.
I saw it.
Not the blame.
I saw it.
That thing right there. So you know.
I watched it.
So hopefully I am sharing.
Yes, you are.
Information that helps people improve in their relationships.
Yes, you are.
Because I'm a relationship person. I love relationships. I love love.
And to live a better life. You didn't get anything else. Get the seed thing, because that is so important. And watch your seeds and your weeds, but also, and your stains, because I got that, but also love yourself. Invest in yourself. I mean, people work all these hours but never invest in themselves. And not just buying yourself something. No. Invest in your emotional and spiritual development. And until we can get mental health as part of our spiritual development, we're not going to get anywhere. People got to see it as part of your spiritual development.
And how about that self-esteem starts with self? So your self-esteem is not built from anybody else.
No.
So when you look at yourself in the mirror
Yeah.
every single day,
Every
you
single
need to
day.
be able to say, I like what I
Yes.
see.
Exactly.
And I'm not just talking about your physical, I'm talking about who you are on the
Yes,
inside.
yes, and your emotional and psychological
Yeah.
well-being. So you have dropped it down today. Thank you so much. One more time, and we'll put it in the comments on how to reach Dr. Adrian. This has been the Therapeutic Conversation Show. I'm your host, Dr. Brian Jones, LPC, in the house every Saturday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. You can also reach me on my website at www.joshua-generation.net, where we are definitely helping people. You know, we have 3 locations here in Atlanta. We also have a nonprofit that is providing affordable mental health services, because a lot of times people come into services and come into, get counseling services, and they have high deductibles and they cannot afford it all the time. And so we have to create spaces where people can get affordable and professional and licensed mental health services.
That's exactly right.
I have to drop it like that because
just like
because
that.
it's the truth. I mean, but get with someone who can help you. Get with someone that is licensed, that's trained, that's able to work with some of our mental illness as well as our mental health, as you said. And I love the way you dropped all that down and all of your. I just love you. And thank you so much for just coming on the show. I'm telling you, and you will be back. I know you will, because I'm going to invite you back, because you're awesome. All right, and so definitely this is, as I said, been a Therapeutic Conversation Show, 108 Praise Radio, Courtney and the staff. Thank you all. Also follow my pastor, Dr. Kenneth L. Samuel. Please follow him on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. from 7 to 8 and get a word, walking in the word, walking in victory. Please follow him, definitely. But this conference will definitely honor him, Dr. Kenneth L. Samuel, the pastor of Victory for the World Church in Stone Mountain. And also we have 10 o'clock services every Sunday there. It's a wonderful place. And also we have, we're honoring Bishop Barbara L. King, Dr. Barbara. We are honoring her for her service and for her work. I mean, just a powerful, internationally well-known. Also, go to the Atlanta airport. It's named, the chapel on the third floor is named after her, in her honor. They had a wonderful ceremony a couple weeks ago, and she will be here live. That's what we are planning. She will be here live on, I think it's May 10th. On that Saturday show, live in the studio, answering your questions, talking, and I'm just so honored that she decided she wanted to come and talk about that. But we're definitely going to be honoring her on June 28th through the 29th. Please register for the conference, early bird special. We're going to be honoring those 2 people through our Empowerment Awards on that Saturday. And make sure you register at www.mhempowerment2019.eventbrite.com. So please share it, especially the people that are in the Atlanta area. There's no reason why you're not there. And I'm going to say it this way before we go. If you care about helping people, if you care about mental health in the church and in the community, you need to be in the place.
That's right.
If you really care. Now, if you don't care, don't come. But if you really care about mental health and wholeness and ministry, and you love the church and love ministry, and you want it to be a healthy place, and you want people to get help, come to the conference. Let's talk about it. Let's partner together. We need more partnerships between churches. We need more partnerships between ministries. We need more partnerships between pastors. Pastors need a place to go because they're hurting and they don't, we got our own stuff. Ministers and pastors got our own stuff.
And therapists.
Oh, and therapists need a place to go.
Right. So I tell people, if you get a therapist who doesn't have a therapist, go get you another therapist. Exactly. And pastors need to come, and they need a process as well.
Exactly. So everybody needs that support. But this is going to be a good networking event, conversations. We're going to be talking, having these therapy conversations. It will be also streamed for the ones that can't come. You can also stream for a fee. But definitely come to the banquet. The luncheon, because it's going to be powerful. As I said, we're going to be honored. We're going to music. We're going to have all kinds of different things. And as I said, that we're honoring Bishop Dr. Barbara L. King of Hillside. Shouts out to my Hillside followers, and also Dr. Kenneth L. Samuel. Shouts out to my Victory for the World Church followers, and all the support and love that both spiritual communities give me, and I appreciate it. All right, this has been the show, Therapeutic Conversation Show. Dr. Adrian, thank you again.
Absolutely.
Tell them how to reach you one more time, and we'll put it in the comments at the end.
Well, my website is in process,
right.
dradrian.com.
All
I'm
right.
excited about it, but
Yep, it's coming up.
447662211 or Dr. A.H. Berry at Comcast.net. And please join Couch Versations with Dr. Adrian.
All right, this has been the Therapeutic Conversation Show, 108 Praise Radio. Thank you. See you next week, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. The Therapeutic Conversation Show. Dr. Brian Jones, LPC. Dr. Adrian, in the house.
In the house.
Amen.
Amen.
You should totally talk to him. No, I don't know, though. I'm scared. I mean, but you're so...
Do you know that you're in my lane? No, not at all. Are you not paying attention? Are you texting? I was just checking in with my mom. I was telling her that I thought we'd be home by 6. It's okay. There's enough time. Just pay attention. I'm not even halfway through my text. There's no way. I'm not even going to look up. My babies are in the car. You have to pay attention. It's just supposed to be a quick text. I'm so sorry.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.